Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 96th Rome Total War Brotherhood battle that I've put onto YouTube. The team I'm in today consists of Titans clan member Mohammed, who has bought the Rome Julio faction. Then we have RTW player OTP Pen G4P, who has bought the Britain faction, which is unusual to the 31k battlefield these days. And then myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. So there's our team there, full of experienced players, but you wait till you see the other team. This should be another great battle for you to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. At this stage of the battle, I thought you might like to see the Britain army here. Now these days it's unusual for people to bring the Brits to a 31k battlefield. And here we have the infamous head hurlers. Now these guys actually, as they say, they actually hurl heads, and those heads are effective against armour and can be very effective against heavily armoured troops, and can cause even cause mass routes because of the casualties they cause. In real life, apparently they used to dip those heads in lime, so when they threw them, even if they just hit the skin of the enemy, the lime would cause massive burning to the skin of the enemy, as well as the damage that those heads hitting bone, etc. could do. So as you say, he's got about 12 units of head hurlers there, and then we have their elite infantry units, which are the there you are. You can see their elite chosen swordsmen there, and they're the elite infantry, and they're pretty good as well for a barbarian faction. And then we have the infamous Brit chariots. Now I think that these chariots are possibly the best chariots in the game. They're extremely powerful, and the main thing about them is they don't run amok. And those of you that may not have played RTW too much might not know that some chariots units run amok when they panic, and they can kill both friend and foe alike. So that's the Brit army there. Should be interesting to see how it does against modern players. And here is the other team. We have RTW player Piper, who has bought the Macedon faction. Then we have Heaven's clan member Cornovi, who has bought the Rome Brutii faction. And then we have another Heaven's clan member, Admiral, who has also bought the Rome Brutii faction there. So there's the enemy team there. I'm sure you agree, full of good players, and this should be a great battle to watch. At this very early stage of the battle, you can see that Heaven's Admiral is being very aggressive in the way that he is moving his troops forward. If you notice, he's moving his archers forward here, guarded by their cavalry. And the reason for that is that as my army is moving over to my allies, ready to form up, he's going to bring his archers across here and shoot arrows into the flank of my moving troops, causing as many casualties as he can. If you notice, he's got his cavalry out the front of his archers. They're probably looking for a chance to smash into any of my units that are still running, but as you can see there, the archers have already caused casualties to my infantry. The thing is, if I keep running over towards my allies, I'm just going to suffer more and more casualties. So the best thing for me to do is to stop running and just to form up, because Roman infantry units facing archers don't lose many troops at all against archer fire, but in their flanks and in their rear, obviously they will lose lots of men. So I've decided to stop there and form up. If you notice now that the enemy Brutii archers are being moved over now towards my allies. So what I can do, I can either start moving over to the right to allow the archers to keep shooting at me again, or I can become aggressive and go straight for the enemy Brutii army in front of me. As you can see, I've decided to go straight for the enemy Brutii army in front of me in an aggressive move that I'm hoping is going to maybe pull some of his army away from my allies' flank on the right there, and maybe move more men on my side. As you can see here, he's moving his archers out to my flank with the hope of being able to shoot arrows into the flank of my infantry even when I'm formed up. Well, I'm not going to allow that to happen, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge my cavalry into those archers. I think that would be the best thing to do. If I move my infantry up further, then I may well be able to send in infantry support as well for when he sends his cavalry in. Right, as you can see, here's my cavalry charging into one of the enemy archer units there. And bang! As you can see, he has seen the danger there, and he is now bringing his cavalry over there to counter-attack me. I can see his cavalry approaching, so now I'm going to break off chasing the archer unit, and I'm going to turn and then charge into that Brutii cavalry there. Now the problem is that there's an archer unit behind my cavalry that are going to shoot fire arrows into the back of my cavalry. Now fire arrows lower morale and could cause some of my cavalry units to rout. And did you notice that that cavalry unit that he's just charged into my flank as well has routed a couple of my cavalry units? So what I need to do is to get some infantry support over to the cavalry battle there. You see my allies brought over a chariot unit. I'm hoping that that would charge in soon, but as you can see at the moment I'm just bringing over a couple of infantry units to support my cavalry. Now if you notice, I can see some more enemy Brutii cavalry approaching, so rather than charge those couple of infantry units into the fighting enemy cavalry, I prefer to turn them and face the incoming enemy cavalry there. And if you notice there, so those two infantry units have soaked up that cavalry attack. I'm now going to charge in my cavalry in a counter attack there. If you notice also, I brought an eagle unit over. If you can see the eagle unit there, and as you know, the eagle unit gives morale to friendly troops there. So I'm just going to put the eagle unit there, so it's giving a morale bonus to my troops. As you can see, a couple of my cavalry units that routed have now rallied, and I'm charging them into the fray as well. So I've got my cavalry, I've got some infantry units, and we've got my allies' chariot unit there also attacking. But if you notice, my allies' Julii cavalry are coming over as well, and I just think when they smash in, that should rout the enemy cavalry. And bang! As you see that cavalry go in there, and you can see the Brutii cavalry almost rout immediately there. That was a nice hit by our Julii ally there. So what we've got to remember though is to make sure that we chase those cavalry units down a little bit so they don't rally. So I'm going to send a couple of my cavalry units after those routing Brutii cavalry there, just to make sure that they don't rally. So on our left flank here, we seem to have done quite good there with great allied support. Now at this stage of the battle, you can see that we've got cavalry on our left, and I've got a couple of infantry units that I'm moving in as well. So I think now is the time to be aggressive towards that Brutii infantry in front of me. What I'm going to do is charge down with cavalry and infantry as well. I think that'd be the best move before maybe they can get any of their pikemen over there to help defend against our cavalry there. As you can see, I'm moving my infantry units forward in an attacking mood. You can see my allies' Julii cavalry are charging in as well. Nice cavalry hit there from a Julii ally there. As you can see, my Scipii infantry are now also charging into the enemy Brutii infantry. I'm just going to pause the game there for us to take stock of what's actually going on here. As you can see, they're on our left flank now. We've pretty well managed to rout most of the army there, and now we're just charging into the centre units there. If you look at the head herders, can you see those black dots there in the kind of like just being thrown? That is the actual heads thrown by the head herders there. And as I said before, those heads are effective against armour, and they also cause fear and panic amongst enemy troops. So they can also help to cause routs of the enemy, not just by the casualties that they cause, but by the fear factor that they bring as well. And as you can see, most of our allies' Julii infantry are all intact. But more menacingly for us, you can see that most of the Macedon pikemen are intact as well. So I think this game is still kind of in the balance at the moment. And it'll be interesting to see what the outcome is. But as I say, our allies with his 12 head herders are causing mass damage to the enemy ranks there, and of course, like I said before, the fear factor as well. As you can see, my Scipii infantry are charging in now. If you notice at the back of the battlefield, you can see about 4 heavy Brit chariots, our allies' Britain chariots coming around there, and probably just looking for the right time to charge in. Here you can see some Brutii cavalry charging. But if you notice, both my ally with his Julii cavalry and my Scipii cavalry are both charging into the enemy Brutii infantry together. And if they got any sense, they'll bring some Macedon pikemen over to defend against a cavalry attack. There you can see the enemy now are bringing over some pike units to actually help defend against the cavalry. And those of you that's watched other battle videos of RTW, we know you don't want to mix your cavalry in with waiting pikes. So what we need to do now is bring our cavalry back.
The enemy general is slain.
We've done a bit of damage to the enemy Brutii infantry that were there, but we need to bring our cavalry back now because we don't want them to mix in with any pikemen. There's some of the, if you notice, some of the head herders have just got their swords out now, or they've used all their heads, so they become light infantry now with their swords. But as you can see here, my Scipii infantry are basically all engaged with the enemy now. If you can see there, there's some couple of chariot units have come in. Now they could start spreading fear and panic amongst the enemy troops, especially as they're hitting them in the rear. There you can see some of the Brutii infantry starting to rout. Now that was from the pressure of us attacking, but mainly I think by the scare factor that those chariots bring to the battlefield, and that will have spread panic through the ranks of the enemy there. As you can see, a lot of the enemy Brutii infantry have routed there. As you can see, our allies' head herders are still throwing in those effective against armour heads, causing lots of damage to the enemy as well. And it just looks at the moment like it's just the enemy Macedon pikemen that are left, because I think most of the enemy Brutii infantry have now routed. And there goes the Brutii enemy general there has just routed there.
General is running away.
As you can see, a lot of the Macedon pikemen now are starting to rout. The Macedon pikemen's morale is not very good anyway, and usually if you can get in a good attack from behind or the flanks, you usually do tend to rout the units there. So it looks like we've managed to win this battle at this time there.
The gods be praised.
I'm just going to pause the game there so we can have a look at the dead on the battlefield. As you can see, there's a lot of dead at various places of the battlefield there. Just goes to show how tough the battle was. I should imagine those head herders caused absolutely masses of damage against the enemy. As you can see, the head herders there, and they're out of ammunition now, so they tend to use their swords, as I said earlier, and they become light infantry. So when you've got 12 units of them, when they've run out of their heads and you can charge them in, you've got all that infantry as well.
This is a heroic victory.
And there goes the last of the enemy Brutii generals just been killed there. I'd just like to say, really well played to everybody in the game. It was a great battle to be in. If you notice that the enemy kills are not that great, and that's because of the aggressive way that our team attacked. We kind of just didn't give them time to kill our troops because we were so aggressive. So that's why there's so many. That's why their kills are not that big there. So it was a great battle to be in. And I thought it was good for you to see how the Brits fought there with their head herders causing so much damage. Just be interested to have a look at the statistics of how my army did there. You can see the cavalry had quite good kills, and the infantry didn't do too badly either with their kills. But normally in the battle, I find that my cavalry have usually got some big, massive kills there. So those kills are not that great there for my cavalry. But it was just interesting for you to have a look at the statistics of my army there. So once again, I'd just like to say that was a really good battle, and well played to everybody in the game. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I look forward to seeing you soon. So it's bye for now, and see you soon. Bye.